Picture yourself, if you can, reaching in with this instrument and grasping blindly anything you can and pull hard. And when it finally pops free, out comes a leg that big, which you put down on the table next to you. You know you did it right if you crush down on the clamp and white material runs out of the cervix. That was the baby's brains. Then you can pull out skull pieces. If you had a day like I had a lot of days, sometimes a face comes back and stares back at you. Congratulations. You just successfully performed a second trimester D&E abortion. You just affirmed her right to choose.
I remember I was on my day off and I went on my laptop and popped up and they were working, and I saw a message saying that the doctor had aborted a fully intact fetus. Fully intact. And Sem Express was sending it straight to the lab.
I literally have had women come in and they'll go in the OR and they're back out in 3 minutes. And I'm going, what's going on? Oh yeah, the fetus was already in the vaginal canal whenever we put her on stirrups. It just fell out.
I've been doing it for a few weeks, so I kind of knew what I was doing, but kind of not. And it was really busy, and one of the doctors came in and she looked really frustrated. The medical assistants were with her. And I don't know, it's my deal to listen and see what's going on. And the doctor just says, if she can't calm down, I can't do the abortion. And I can't medicate her. And the doctor went in to perform the abortion. Takes a little while. And I'm in the hallway. I see the jar come out. So then I hear her call my name. Hey, Ollie, come over here. I want you to see something kind of cool. It's kind of neat. So I'm over here, and this is the moment I see it, I'm just flabbergasted. This is the most gestated fetus and closest thing to a baby I've seen. And she's like, okay, I want to show you something. So she has one of her instruments and she just taps the heart and it starts beating. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this fetus and its heart is beating. And I don't know what to think.
Is there still circulation in the heart once you isolate it?
So, so there are times when after the procedure is done that the heart actually is still beating.
And it's like, you know why that's happening? And I knew why it was happening. It's because the electrical current the nodes were still firing. And I don't know if that constitutes it's technically dead or it's alive. It had a face. It wasn't completely torn up. And its nose was very pronounced. It had eyelids. And its mouth was pronounced. And then, since the fetus was so intact, she said, okay, well, this is a really good fetus, and it looks like we can procure a lot from it. We're going to procure a brain. So, the moment I hear something like, that means we're going to have to cut the head open. We're going to have to cut the head open. So, it's like, okay, so what you do is you go through the face. I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do this. And she takes the scissors and she makes a small incision right here. And goes, I would say, to maybe a little bit through the mouth. And she's like, okay, can you go the rest of the way? And I'm like, yes. And I didn't want to do this. And so she gave me the scissors and told me that I have to cut down the middle of the face. And I can't even describe what that feels like. And I remember picking it up and finishing going through the rest of the face. And Jessica picking up the brain and putting it in the container with the media and parafilming it. And she left and she's like, okay, you can clean it up. And I'm just sitting there like, what did I just do? And that was the moment I knew I couldn't work for the company anymore. And it was, even if it's going to be good, if that could have been the cure for some kind of disease, then I wish, even if it was, I wish I still wouldn't have done it. I don't want to be that person. And I remember it was a male. I remember picking him up with the gloves because it was too heavy. The pie dish was this, and he was big. the pie dish, and I couldn't like take it and put it in the strainer and put it in. Like I couldn't. It was just too big. And I opened the biohazard container, and it's almost full. Like it's almost full. I'm holding him in my hands. I'm like, oh my god, this is just, what am I doing? And I take him, I put him in, and I remember he got stuck on the lid. And it turned around and his buttocks was in the air and his 2 feet were like dangling out, and I remember having to pick each one of his feet up and put him in the container and close the lid. And that was the hardest experience I've had there. I remember holding that fetus in my hands when everybody else was busy and started crying and opened the lid and put it back in. It's just really hard knowing that you're the only person who's ever going to hold that baby. It's weird because I always think of all these scenarios that could happen. Like, I held it, I'm like, man, this could have grown up to be... And I always think about things like that. Like, if this could be a lawyer, this could be a firefighter, this could be the next president. Like, I wonder what... Because you can tell the sex sometimes. Like, I wonder if this, like, what it would like. Like, I can imagine, like... I wonder at age 3 if, you know, she would like to color. Or things like that, you know? I wonder what it would look like. Her mom or her dad. Or things like that. I feel like it's a waste of life. Like, and it's sad that so many people view it as a mistake. You know, because it's not. I mean... Life isn't a mistake. I mean, getting pregnant it be an accident, but it's not a mistake.
These are intact kidneys, okay. Yes. If somebody needed...
Because if I looked at that, I'd be like, that's good to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's like 21.
Yeah.
5 stars.
There was like 3 or 4 samples we could have taken out of the 11.6, so that would be, you know, if we were doing like, you know, 50 to 75 per specimen, that would be like 200, 300, right? And we'd be comfortable with that. But like, so it's like stuff like this, like we don't want to be like just a flat fee of like 200, and then, you know, it's like...
No, and you know, I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it. So what do they want brain? What do they do with it?
Yeah, no, so brain, what you can do is with brain they...
Do people do stuff with eyeballs?
Oh yeah. Although eyeballs, they generally want more developed than this. And the cow, there was first there was brain in here.
Blasted out?
They got blasted out with the water.
Well, you know, a lot of times, especially with the second tries, we won't even put water because it's so big. You can just put your hand in there and pick up the parts.
Just pick it up.
So I don't think they would be as war-torn.
Yeah, war-torn. Oh dear.
Well, here's some organs for you. They're all attached. There's the stomach. Oops, sorry, they both of you. Kidney. Heart. It's the stomach, the heart, and kidney and adrenal. I don't know what else is in there. Oh, it goes in. Oh,
there you go. Yep. You got all of them right
and
there.
Another boy.
I've been an obstetrician gynecologist for 33 years, and the early part of my career I performed over 1,200 abortions, over 100 of them in the second trimester, up to 24 weeks of gestation. A 24-week baby that we're describing here from last period is the length of your hand and a half again, from head to rump, not counting the legs. A second trimester abortion at that stage is a blind procedure. You can't really see anything. Everything has to be done by feel. Picture yourself, if you can, reaching in with this instrument and grasping blindly anything you can, and pull hard. And when it finally pops free, out comes a leg that big, which you put down on the table next to you. And reach in with this again and grasp and pull hard. Out comes an arm about the same length, which you put down on the table next to you. And reach in with this instrument again and again and tear out the spine, the intestines, heart and lungs. Head of the baby about that age is maybe the size of a large plum. Again, the procedure is blind. You reach in being careful not to perforate the uterus. And you have a pretty good idea you have it if you have your clamp around something and your arms, your fingers are spread about as far as they will go. You know you did it right if you crush down on the clamp and white material runs out of the cervix. That was the baby's brains. Then you can pull out skull pieces. If you had a day like I had a lot of days, sometimes a face comes back and stares back at you. Congratulations. You just successfully performed a second trimester D&E abortion. You just affirmed her right to choose.
Oh, he's the same age as me, 15, you know, so like if they're 15, it's just like mainly 14 and under, we have to. Doesn't matter. If their partner's the same age, younger, whatever, 14 and under, we have to report.
14 under. That includes being 14, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
14, you know, once they get to 15, then there's a little bit more playroom. So as long as they just lie and say, oh, he's 15, 16, you know, as long as they don't say 14, and as long as it's not too much of an age gap, then we just kind of like, then we just kind of play.
What if they do say they're 14?
Well, you know, then from there, it's just really watching what they say.
What if they need an abortion though?
Oh, that's a completely different story now.
Oh.
Now, if they're now this is more
No,
just for
good.
testing and stuff like that.
okay, okay.
We need to know a little bit.
Yeah, if they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
in for pregnancy testing, at that point it still needs to be. You never got this from me, just to make all of our lives easier.
Okay.
If they're 14
Yeah.
and under,
Yeah.
just send them right there if they need an abortion. Okay.
3 weeks, so like
That's about 6 months.
about okay.
Yeah,
So I
you're
mean,
like,
is it like pretty big? Like, do you know how big it is? Like,
it's 6 months. It's fully
like
grown.
it's fully grown.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mean it has like all the parts and stuff? You
Yeah.
think? Okay.
Yeah.
So how are they? How do they like remove it then?
It's done by suction. It's a sucking tube that they just hold and it sucks it in, and then they put it in a solution and they send it out to the lab so they can measure everything to make sure that everything came out of you.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't like come out because you said it's like kind of developed. It doesn't come out in like one piece.
No.
Like. Okay. So I'm just trying to think. How does it?
They start
Oh, okay.
falling apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't know why you want to know all
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
If it did come out in one piece, it's very small.
Yeah. Like, what if it was like twitching or like something like that? Like.
The solution will make it stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to be moving around in the jar.
Okay, the solution would make it like.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the solution.
Okay. So like, if it looked like it was like breathing or something like that.
It'll automatically stop. It won't be able to.
It won't be Okay.
Not with the
So I'm not even gonna see it.
No.
So. Okay. So I mean, like, if that
You're
happens.
asleep, they take it out and it goes into our lab where they do the stuff with the jar and cleaning and all that.
Okay. So what is the solution? It's just like something like toxic or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to
So,
do that
like-
to keep it clean and, you know, because by the time it gets to the lab, it still needs to be freshly, you know,
Yeah.
so they could weigh it, so it could be proper weight to make sure that everything came out of you. Like there's no pieces left in you.